Well, how much does the Earth cost?
Alright Kanye, apparently there's some Yale professor who thinks the Earth costs $5 quadrillion. Yeah, so that number is probably bullshit. So let's actually try to answer this on our own. Really, there's multiple approaches to this question. Let's start with approach number 1, the naive sum method. This method tries to value the Earth by calculating the sum value of all wealth on the planet. This gives us a number equal to 454 trillion. So less than 10% of what the Yale guy said. We get this number by adding up the assets of every country's residents on the planet and subtracting their liabilities. Simple, but stupid. So let's move on to method number 2, the finance bro method. The finance bro method tries to treat the Earth as a financial asset that you can value. So let's first learn how financial assets are valued. Imagine a contract. The owner of the contract gets $100 immediately. How much could this contract sell for? Yeah, the answer is $100. That's its value. Now what about a contract that gives you $100 in a year? That's probably not worth $100. The question you want to ask yourself is, how hard is it to get $100 in a year? Well, I'm not sure if you know this, but banks pay interest. If you put $95 in a bank, it's going to be worth almost $100 in a year if they pay 5% interest. So $100 in a year costs $95 today. This is called discounting. We divide the future money by the interest rate. So $100 in a year today is worth roughly 100 divided by 1.05 if interest rates are at 5%. $100 in 2 years would come out at like $90.7 today? Okay, but how does this help us value the Earth? Well, the Earth has worth because it generates goods and services. It makes stuff. Cars, steak, Baldur's Gate 3, San Francisco Bay Area parties. The question is, how much value does the Earth generate? Well, we thankfully have a metric for this. It's called GDP, which basically measures the value of everything we create in a year. And world GDP is currently roughly 100 trillion. Okay, so what do we do with this number? Well, imagine if you have an asset that pays you $100 every year. What does it cost? Well, let's work $100 from right now, and plus $100 divided by 1.05 for next year's part, plus 100 divided by 1.05 squared for the year after, and it keeps getting added infinitely. Thankfully, we have a formula to sum an infinite amount of numbers that keep getting divided by the same thing. We use this magic formula to find that $100 every year forever with an interest rate of 5% is worth $2,000. So if instead of $100 we have 100 trillion, the number would be about 2 quadrillion. Huh, not as far from that Yale guy now. And here's the thing, 2 quadrillion's wrong. It's an underestimation. First of all, long-term interest rates are not really at 5%, they're closer to 4%. And second, world GDP is not constant. It might be 100 trillion right now, but it'll be more every year going forward. On average, it grows 2% every year, meaning that our numbers look more like this. Now when we redo our calculations, we find that the Earth costs 5 quadrillion. Well, shit. But there's a third method, and it really shows the problem with what we've explained up to now. The Yale dude is wrong, not because of his approach, but because of the question in the first place. You cannot buy the Earth, not because there's no single guy with that amount of money, but because prices are not fixed. Imagine you're on an island and have 10 apples. There's no other food on the island. Someone offers you $100 for the apples. Do you accept? Well, no, because you can't buy any food with the $100 after you sold them the apples. That was the only food available. So, suppose the US Fed starts printing money and buying actual goods. They buy everything from everyone and get to you. Do you sell them your stuff? Let's say they offer you billions. Of course you want billions for your shitty studio apartment and laptop. Think of all you can buy with that sort of money. But wait, you can't. They already bought everything. You can't buy anything anymore. The billions are worthless. You won't sell. So the answer is, you can't value the Earth in dollars, because the purchasing power of a dollar changes when you start trying to buy everything. It is quite literally impossible to calculate how much the Earth costs.